Almost everyone who has ever driven a tractor is interested in how they're tested, and some of you may even have the idea that many of them never were. We can assure you that at Allis Chalmers, prototype tractors are rigorously tested, even tortured, to prove that every detail of the design performs as it should and meets high standards of long life. For instance, tractor powertrains are subjected to two important testing procedures: continuous heavy load and breakdown. Continuous heavy load testing is accomplished by weighting the tractor to 170 pounds per PTO horsepower and loading the tractor until it is operating at 100% of engine horsepower. The load consists of old tractors which have been converted by adding a hitch frame, weighting them down with concrete and iron, and installing controls in the manifold so the engines become air compressors. Tractors must withstand hundreds of hours of continuous operation, and each of these hours is equivalent to 3 hours of normal field operation, since the tractor is operating at 100% load, while normal field work averages about 65% load. Continuous heavy load testing can also be accomplished on chassis dynamometers. Dynamometers are adjusted to absorb 100% of engine horsepower, and tractors are operated continuously. Automatic controls sense any malfunction and stop the tractor if trouble should arise. A computer monitors the test at all times, so the tests continue around the clock without tying up manpower. Powertrain breakdown testing can also be done in two ways. On the track, the tractor is loaded in the same manner as for continuous heavy load testing, but instead of grinding along at a steady pace, the operator disengages the clutch and allows the whole rig to roll to a stop. He then removes his foot from the pedal in a sidewise motion that allows the clutch to snap into engagement. Naturally, the entire powertrain is subjected to extreme shock loads. Tires spin and grind away pounds of rubber. And finally, the train reaches operating speed again, at which time the operator starts the whole tormenting procedure all over. This happens about every 30 seconds for hundreds of hours. As high stress points are located, they can be corrected until all are eliminated and the powertrain passes test criteria. You can imagine just how enthusiastic tractor operators would be about this test, especially during Wisconsin winters before cabs became popular. In order to accelerate powertrain testing, Allis Chalmers test engineers designed a special device to automate the track test. The tractor is backed onto the water-cooled skid pads, and the three-point hitch is connected to stationary anchors. Loaded to test weight, and with the engine operating at full power, the clutch is snapped into engagement by the automated controls. Tires spin as the powertrain is shock-loaded. The screech is deafening as worn-off rubber piles up behind the tires, and the tremendous power is converted into heat to be carried away by the water cooling system in the skid pads. Hydraulic jacks lift the tractor slightly as the clutch is automatically disengaged and the wheels coast to a stop. The tractor then lowers back to the skids, and the cycle starts again. Hour after hour, day after day, this cycle repeats every 30 seconds. Since the only manpower required is for routine maintenance, test hours accumulate up to 4 times as rapidly. Bad weather, which would disrupt track testing, no longer interferes with the test program. When you drop the front wheel of your new Allis Chalmers tractor into a chuck hole for the first time, it really isn't the first time. During development, prototypes made dozens of trips like this. If there is any test that operators like less than this, it is probably the rough course, which can deliver severe shock loads to the tractor, its three-point hitch, mounted implements, and, of course, the driver himself. Automation would really be welcome here, wouldn't it? The three-point hitch on your tractor will be subjected to a great deal of abuse, even in normal operation. Overloads, side thrusts, and twists will be a part of its daily fare, so you can bet it will get its share of torture, both in the laboratory and out on the track. The drawbar will get tested very much the same as it will when you have a heavy implement hung up in deep mud. This goes on until something has to give. Each cab, or protective frame, is subjected to 2 tests, the pendulum and actual rollover. The larger the tractor, the greater the prescribed arc of travel for the pendulum, and the greater the impact. The deflection of various members of the cab is carefully measured to ascertain whether they would contact the head of the operator, who is properly belted in the seat. The idea of turning a tractor over sends chills all over, but it's nice to know your cab has been thoroughly tested to meet the tough standards. The tractor must be rolled both sideways and over backwards. In addition to crush resistance, other factors such as control of flammable or noxious liquids are monitored. Here is a scene that we hope none of you will ever witness in person. But if you do, we certainly want it observed from the inside of a cab that has been tested and meets the industry standards. We'd like to keep all our present customers and have some new ones too.